Hello friends and welcome to Edupedia World Videos. This is the course Basics of Programming in C Language, and in this particular video tutorial we will be learning about the for loop. So till now we have learned about the while loop and do while loop and the difference between these two loops. So the third kind of loop in the C language is the for loop. Okay, so for loop is one of the most popular loops among the programmers because it combines the condition part as well as the variable increment part inside a single statement. Okay, so it is a shorthand for most of your loop activities. So let me just first begin a new project in which we will be making our file. Okay, so let me choose console application, next C language, and then we have to give a title. So I will write for loop. Okay, finish. So now my main template is created and I will remove the printf hello world file because I don't need that. I will also remove stdlib.h because I don't want to include that. I want to include stdio.h, which means that I am including this file which is standard input output, which contains the functions for basic console input and output like printf, scanf, etc. Okay, and this is our main function in which integer is the data type which the function will return. Okay, so return type of main function should always be integer in the C programming language because the main function is expected to return something to the operating system after the execution is finished, and in the normal circumstances we return 0. So by default in the beginning of your program just add a return 0 statement in your main function until or unless you intentionally want to modify the value returned to the operating system. Okay, so we have kept 0 as the return code. We have returned 0 by default. So now we should learn about the syntax of the for loop. Before that, let me just zoom into the code so that it is more visible. Okay, now I will write over here the for loop. For, which is a keyword, then comes your brackets, and within these brackets the syntax is divided into three parts. Okay, first of all let me write it in a comment so that it is not executional. Okay, so I will write over here the first part, which is the initialization. So this part you will use to initialize your loop variable. Okay, then comes a semicolon, then comes your second part after that, and that part is the condition. So here actually your loop condition will be kept in the second part, and then again one more semicolon. At the end you will have to write your operation that you have to perform over your loop variable, which can be either increment or decrement or whatever else you want to do with your loop variable. You can place it over here, and the conditions can be multiple conditions also, that also you can give. Okay, you can give and separated or separated conditions. These kinds of things can also be there. So this is the basic syntax, and apart from that your loop block begins after the next line. Using these brackets you begin your loop block. So this is the loop block. These conditions will be executed repetitively till the condition given over here is true. So these statements will keep on getting executed. Okay, so this is the basic syntax of the for loop. Now let us decide an objective of the program. Okay, so let us have the objective that we have to print the counting in reverse from 10 to 1. Okay, so we have to print the counting in reverse from 10 to 1. So this will be the objective of this particular program. So let us take some variables. First of all, the count itself. Okay, so now we have to print it from 10 to 1. So let us initialize it to 10 itself, so that we are beginning from 10. It has been initialized to 10. Now inside the loop we begin a loop for, first of all is the initialization part. Okay, so we have although already initialized our variable here, you can also do one thing. You don't initialize here, you can initialize it over here also. So count is equal to 10. So this is one way. Other way is initialize your variable outside of the loop, then you can skip this particular part altogether, but you have to include this semicolon over here. Okay, right now let us follow the other way around, that we will initialize it over here. Count is equal to 10. Now in the next thing that we have to do is you have to give the condition. Okay, so count should be greater than or equal to 1. So our intention is to print the reverse counting from 10 to 1. Okay, so this is count should be greater than or equal to 1, and in each step we have to decrement the count. So count minus minus, minus minus is the unary operator, that means will act on a single variable, and the intention is to decrement the variable by 1 at every time. So this is how minus minus works. After that you have the loop block, and in the loop block we will just print our variable count. So first of all, the format specifier for an integer variable is %d, then you put your variable that will be printed, and you also need to put a new line which is using the escape sequence \n. So to know more about the escape sequences and the format specifiers, you have to refer to our video on console input and output. Okay, so right now our program seems to be almost complete. Our for loop is in syntax. Okay, so now we can just save our code. Let us try and build our code. It has built with 0 warning, 0 errors. Now let us try and run it. Okay, so it has printed the reverse counting from 10 to 1 in a go, and it is all fine. 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. So our execution is perfect. It has executed as expected. Now let us try to change something over here. Suppose I want to decrement it 2 times instead of once. So I want to print every alternate number. Okay, so what I have to do is, you can write, instead of count minus minus, you can write count minus equal to 2. So this means that this is a shorthand for count equal to count minus 2. So writing count equal to count minus 2 or writing count minus equal to 2 is the one and the same thing. So these are known as shorthand operators, and you can refer to our video on operators to learn more about these shorthand operators. Similarly, if I want to write is equal to count plus 2, I can write it like count plus is equal to 2. Similarly, for writing count is equal to count multiplied by 2, I can write it like this, count asterisk equal to 2. So that is all possible in the C language, and you can refer to them in detail in the chapter on operators. Okay, so for the time being, let us save this program, build it, and try and run it. So this time it has printed all the reverse counting, printing only the even or the alternate digits 10 8 6 4 2, and that's it. Okay, so now our program is working as expected, and here we have done some basic program inside a for loop. So now we have learned all the types of loops. Okay, while, do while, and for loop. Now you have to remember that for loop and while loop will execute only if the condition given in the loop is true. So even for the first time, if the condition is false, none of these loops, for or while, will execute one time. Okay, only do while loop will execute at least one time, irrespective whether your condition is true or false. Okay, so I hope the basic use of the for loop is clear to you, and thank you for watching Edupedia World videos. Continue to watch the course Basics of Programming in C language.